Let me talk to you now about the top things that I would recommend that you make sure that you pack specifically for your car journey. Hello everybody and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you are an existing subscriber. I wanted to talk to you today about travelling with babies and toddlers. We recently took a 6-hour car journey down to visit my dad on the south coast. We are up in the north of England. So I wanted to share not only the essentials that we packed for the car journey and how to survive and navigate a long car journey when you do have a baby, a toddler or both, but also travelling in this post-lockdown period and what it was like for us, what our experiences were. One of the biggest things to think about when you're planning your car journey is planning what time of day or night to drive with your little ones. This really does depend a lot on your child or your children as well. Finley hated the car. He was never happy in the car. He cried basically the whole time we were in there, and that really affected how we drove with him when he was a young baby. We've been doing this 6-hour car journey since he was a baby. Rupert is a lot happier in the car, but equally can get a little bit frustrated after he's been in his car seat for quite a while. Through lots and lots of trial and error and some pretty disastrously awful car journeys where we got stuck in horrendous traffic, we have come up with the perfect formula for having a happy car journey depending on the time of day that you choose to travel. One of the best times to choose to travel is during the night or when your children are sleeping. This was something that I was always a little bit cautious about with Finley when he was first born, because I thought, how is he going to sleep in the car effectively? Won't he just keep waking up? Because ordinarily he would only sleep for about an hour in the car. So I was worried that it wouldn't really seem like a full night's sleep for him. I did try to recreate the nighttime experience for him as much as possible, and I will talk a little bit more about that when I discuss what kind of things we pack to go in the car. So typically what we will do before we leave is have tea time, bath time, get the boys, or the boy when it was just Finley, ready for bed, and then set off in the car. It sometimes takes him a little while to fall asleep because it's a different environment, but he would fall asleep, and every time that we've done it he has slept consistently all the way home. This last time that we travelled with Rupert, we did have to stop halfway through and he woke up for just a little bit, but I fed him and he went back to sleep as soon as we started off on the car journey again, and basically when we were driving he was asleep the whole time. If you can't travel at night time, or you don't want to travel at night time, then the other thing to do is to try and plan your driving around your child's naps. The best way to do this, I think, is to set off first thing in the morning so that you can get a good chunk of driving in before that first morning nap, then again a little bit of driving in before the lunchtime nap, and this lunchtime nap tends to be for most of our children longer, maybe 2 hours or even 3 hours, so that's when you can get quite a bit of driving done while your children are asleep, and then of course stopping again maybe and doing a little bit more driving depending on how long you have to go. Sometimes our children just fall asleep naturally when we're in the car, and it's not always in their normal nap times. I wouldn't worry too much. I certainly try not to worry if that's the case, and if the children are sleeping, basically we just keep on driving. Stopping regularly is the key to having a happy time in the car, I believe. You may know that infants shouldn't be in their car seat for more than around about an hour, so it really doesn't give you a lot of time to do driving. Now we do sometimes push that a little bit if I'm honest, but I do still think that it's really important to make sure that you make those regular stops, not only for feeding but also to be able to get your baby out and let them stretch their arms and legs. Now we have a toddler as well, and he is potty trained, but he still needs to go to the toilet or try to go to the toilet on a very regular basis. So for us on this journey down, this is the first time we've done this journey since he's not been in nappies, so we wanted to stop regularly to make sure that he had the opportunity to go to the toilet if he needed to. Under normal circumstances, our favourite places to stop, whether your opinion on them is that they are not very nice, and I maybe do have that opinion, but for this kind of purpose they do their job, and those are places like Wacky Warehouse or those kind of pubs with soft plays attached to them, because it just gives your little one a chance to run around, stretch their legs, and you can all get some food as well before setting off on your way. So that's normally where we would stop for the middle of our journey when we take that longer lunch break, before then hopefully then they have the longer nap as you drive a little bit further. Another good option is to suss out any National Trust properties or big open park spaces on your route so that you can stop and have a picnic and let your little ones have a chance to run around. Obviously, at the moment, those things aren't possible because we are in this post-lockdown period where lots of things are still closed. So what we did on this journey down this time is that we stopped at service stations along the way. We didn't actually plan the service stations that we were going to stop at because I just wanted to make sure that we drove when the children were sleeping, and as we were driving along we kind of worked out the best time to stop. So the situation with service stations at the moment, and I actually got a DM the other day on Instagram asking me about this, is that all service stations in the UK are open and running. What we found was that although the service stations were open and you could go inside, we didn't actually choose to go inside and use the limited facilities inside the service station. All the service stations that we stopped at on both the way there and the way back had what were like little portable kind of versions of the cafes out in the car park. So for example, a Costa or a Greggs, that kind of thing. They had their own little takeaway like vans, I guess, outside the service stations. And then obviously there was just social distancing in the queue as you queued up for those things, and then you could sit outside and eat. We actually just took our food back and sat in the car and ate it there. As it stands at the moment, the roads were really not busy at all, and the service stations were pretty quiet too. So it was really easy to be able to keep socially distanced from other people, even those people who maybe weren't thinking so much about it, and just make sure that we kept our family and our little bubble safe. Let me talk to you now about the top things that I would recommend that you make sure that you pack specifically for your car journey, not to use when you get to your destination, although you can obviously use these things there as well. So these are things that you need to have in a separate bag close to you while you're in the car. I will talk about the things to pack for a baby first, and then I will move on to things that you can pack for a toddler as well. One of the things that I've talked about before that are brilliant for traveling, and especially if you're creating a sleep environment for traveling, are the travel grow bags. We actually have a 0.5 TOG one of these. I'm not sure if the higher TOGs do come in travel versions, but obviously often when you're traveling, you are traveling in the summer months when it's a little bit warmer. The travel grow bags are great because they have a little hole in the back of them so that the bit that comes up in the car seat between the baby's legs can come through here, and you can clip the straps into there. It doesn't affect the car seat in any way. It's just like them wearing a thin t-shirt, so it won't impede on the safety of the car seat at all. I really like the travel grow bags because not only does it create that nice sleep environment and sleep association for your baby, but it means that when you get home, if it's still bedtime or nighttime when you get home, which it often is unless you're doing an exceptionally long journey, you can easily lift your baby out of their car seat and put them straight into their bed, or maybe feed them and then put them straight into their bed, but you certainly don't have to faff around with getting them changed and putting them in pyjamas. Along the same lines, when creating a sleep environment for your child, you may also want to consider taking things like your white noise machine. We have a My Hummy, which we absolutely love, and that's great because it has a Velcro strap, so I just strap that to the side of the car seat for Rupert. He also has a dummy for sleeping, so we take that with us too. And then making sure that the environment that they're sleeping in is dark enough, or certainly not flooded with bright sunlight, is also really important. So considering making sure that you have window shades on your car windows if you don't already, and maybe taking, if you have one, a snooze shade. We absolutely love the snooze shade for the car because it just creates that dark environment when sometimes it's a little bit too bright outside still. This is especially important in the summer months when you're maybe setting off to drive home at bedtime, but it's obviously still very bright outside and you want your child to understand that it's time to go to sleep. I really love car seat mirrors. This next item is one of my favorites, and it is a car seat mirror. The idea with this, I'm sure you've seen them before, it attaches to the headrest above where your baby is sitting in the car seat, and so you can look in your rearview mirror and you can see your baby. So they're a little bit controversial because some people say that they can distract the driver, but certainly when there's two of you sitting in the car and somebody else is driving, you can use the car seat mirror to look back and quickly check that your baby is okay. I also really like the car seat mirror because because not only can you check your baby is okay and see if they're sleeping or not, but it provides them with a little bit of entertainment. Rupert really loves looking into his car seat mirror, and it does entertain him, because one of the other things that you need to be mindful of is the fact that giving toys to babies or toddlers while they're in the car is really quite dangerous. So you need to think about the fact that if you're in a car accident and your baby has a hard toy in their hand, that toy has the very likely potential to fly up and hit your baby in the face or in the torso somewhere, causing a lot more damage than maybe they would have had otherwise. So we don't give our boys toys in the car as such, but I do make the exception for our Sophie giraffe. Rupert absolutely loves his Sophie giraffe, and it's made of a soft rubber, so I know that if it did fly out of his hand and smack him in his face, although it may sting a little, it wouldn't actually do any permanent damage to him. Hopefully that situation would never occur anyway, but you just want to be mindful and aware of that. Although Rupert is now weaning, we didn't pack any snacks for him for the car, because it's not safe to give your baby snacks while they're in their car seat, especially because Rupert is in his infant car seat, so he's still quite reclined. It's just not safe. He's not got that swallow reflex down yet, and I can't watch him. So if you have any other essentials that you pack for your baby on a car journey, then make sure that you leave them down in the comments below so that other people can see them as well, and so that maybe I can get some ideas for next time we go on our next long car journey. Moving on to what to pack for toddlers now. Toddlers are great because they can entertain themselves a little bit more in the car, and something that we actually did for this car journey is turn Finley's seat around so that he was forward facing. He's almost 3, but he's still rear facing in his car seat because the guidelines are that they should be rear facing until they're, I think it's 4 years old, and he's perfectly happy rear facing, and as it's safer we just keep him that way. But we did turn him round for the purposes of this car journey, and it was a really smart thing to do because he could look around, see what was around him, and really he managed to survive the whole 6-hour journey with only a short nap, and the rest of that time was happy to look around, to chat to us, to look out the windows and see what he could see. Some small things that we did take for entertainment purposes were a few light books. I didn't take any board books in the car with us because I again didn't want them to be weapons, but we did take a few light paperback books with us. Something that you may want to consider packing is your iPad or tablet or similar, and we have a holder for ours that attaches to the headrest of the car, so it just has straps that go around the tablet and keep it in place. This means that your child doesn't have to hold it, that it's not dangerous for them to hold, and they can see it clearly. We also took headphones with us just in case, although I didn't actually end up using them. But if you have older children or younger children that may be disturbed by your toddler and what they are watching, then taking headphones for your toddler is a really good idea. We have Toddler travel headphones, and I will link them down below for you. I got them off Amazon, and they're really great because they have a noise limit on them, so your toddler can't turn anything up too high to blast their ears. We actually got them for our plane journey, and I did share them in that video on what to pack for your toddler. If you are a toddler parent, you will know that snacks are life, so we made sure that we packed tons of snacks and drinks. I took Finley's 360 Munchkin cup with us. He doesn't really drink out of this a lot anymore because he just drinks out of open cups, but for the purposes of the car it's just much better because you don't need to worry about spills. And then we got some of these snack pots, and I will pop some up on the screen so that you can see and link them down below. These are really great because they are no spill, so you can put snacks in them and your little one can turn them and shake them upside down and the snacks won't fall out. I also like them because it takes them a little bit longer to eat the snack than it would ordinarily if it was just in an open bowl, because they've got to work to get their hand in, to use their fingers to grab the snack, and then to work it out of the little rubber top so that they can eat them. Just those little things that occupy them for that little bit longer. I also tend to make sure that we pack some kind of blanket just to cover him up if he's getting a little bit too cold and if he's fallen asleep. And if we are planning on traveling during the night time, then we will tend to dress him in pajamas before we set off just so that he's comfier. But sometimes if we are passing from daytime to nighttime while we're in the car, I will just take a pair of pajamas to change him into while we're on the road. The last thing that I would recommend that you take if you have a child that is potty training or is potty trained recently is a potty. Now I think that the best potties to get are the travel potties with the sealable lids, but we don't have one of those yet. So we just took our regular potty with us. We didn't use it while we were in the car, although I was prepared to have to do that if we needed to, but we just made sure that we took regular stops at service stations, and each time we stopped we gave Finley the opportunity to go to the toilet on his potty, and he did do it a few times. We just made sure that we tried to stop somewhere out of the way of other cars so that he had that little bit of privacy, and also when we were next to grass or bushes then I could just quickly tip the contents, the wee contents of the potty onto the grass, and then it was fine. Just gave it a little wipe out with a wipe and everything was good. To watch the video on what I pack for a plane journey, then click on to this one here. Or if you want to watch any other content about general baby parenting or toddler parenting life, then you can click onto this playlist here, which has lots of different options for you. If you like this video, then do make sure to give it a like. It really does help my channel and I appreciate it so very much. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I will speak to you all soon. Bye bye.